So we have to take a look at insight, perception checks, those kind of skill checks in D&D, right? Perception checks, skill checks, well, insight checks, investigation checks, checks where knowledge is the key, maybe even arcane, maybe even religion, where I'm going to give the players bits and pieces of information, especially when we know through perception check, persuasion, deception, we know how that's going to go. So do we roll that behind the screen and hide the results so the players don't know, or do we let them see their failure? This really depends on your table. I roll in the open. I've never hidden one of these. God, I want to. Oh, I want to. So do I want to. Because I don't want my players to know if they failed that deception check. Because if they roll a 5, they're going to know. But you may want to. And some players may want to have that suspense, not knowing whether they got the insight check right. And here's the thing, though. In my game, if you roll a 5 on an insight check, I'll still give you information. And it may not be false information, but it might be. And my players not knowing what that is, because a lot of times I always give information. You are skilled at insight. You're skilled at investigation. You are proficient in this ability. You're always able to glean something, but sometimes you're not sure. And so a lot of times when they roll low, I'm like, you're sure this person is telling the truth, but there's something else there. Ooh. They know they're telling the truth. They've talked to enough commoners, enough merchants behind, but what they don't know is what they're not hiding. Then the player can actually try to investigate that. Well, I want to persuade them to tell me more. Roll a persuasion check. They roll a 5. Well, the merchant starts to feel the pressure that you're putting on them, and their guard starts to come up. They cross their arms like, I'm not sure what you guys are doing here, but let's get your wares and let's get out, okay? It's time for you guys to go, right? So because we did that, because they failed, it's not that they're not going to persuade them, it's there's a negative consequence now. Now the players can try to convince them again. Someone else can be like, listen, we don't mean to do that. We're trying to figure out what's going on in this town. If you don't want to tell us, that's absolutely fair. Roll a persuasion check. Yeah, that's a great role playing, but I'm still going to have you roll the check to figure out what actually happens. Or will I? That's another thing we can talk about. I always have that check being rolled. Because the Bavarian does that. That doesn't come off that way. We mean you no harm. You stay here. We buy from you now. No, y'all can leave. You get the drift. So overall, utilizing those checks in that way can help you narratively without having you to lock something in place. Food for thought.